What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Raw is heating up as Randy Orton found out last week with the Royal Rumble fast approaching. So what will the WWE do to top last week's fiery finish? Join us now as we look at the 18th January 2021 edition of Raw, as well as some of the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including who was Drew McInfart, Roman Reigns reacts to Randy Orton's new mask, WWE's Wrestlemania plans, Batista looking jacked, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we aren't recapping the matches, but just providing you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, that Styles finisher. Just wow. AJ Styles may be 43 years old, but he moves like he's 15 years younger, as seen by the fantastic finish to his match against Ricochet. Now, in case you missed it, Ricochet went for a springboard on Styles, only for the phenomenal one to counter, hitting the Styles Clash. Both men put on an entertaining match that must have fans asking why these two don't wrestle more often. While their 2019 series over the United States Championship showed promise, the WWE never gave it much thought or time. Last night's match suggests the WWE has a potential potent program it can use if it wants to build up Ricochet as more than that guy who is always fighting retribution. A whole role Xavier Woods seems stuck with at this moment. Number 2, masked and mutilated. Now, Randy Orton may be masked and mutilated thanks to Alexa Bliss's fireball, but it's clear that the Viper is more dangerous than ever. By the way, kudos to WWE's makeup department for making Orton look extra crispy enough to sell the attack, and the costuming department for giving him a mask that accentuated rather than hid his kayfabe injuries. Just when it seems like Orton's heel act can't get any better, he finds a way to add yet another layer to it. Is Orton really a snake who sheds his skin from time to time? Or has he just found that creative spark that was lacking earlier in his career? Number 3, Alexa Bliss, Raw Women's Champion. The WWE seems to have found a good opponent for the Raw Women's Champion with Alexa Bliss. Bliss has been doing a great job as Bray Wyatt's new partner in crime, but let's not forget that Alexa Bliss is an all-round talent in the WWE. While she isn't on the same level in the ring as, say, Asuka, Bayley, or Sasha Banks, she knows how to put on entertaining matches and can work with a variety of opponents. Add in her undeniable charisma, flexibility at working face or heel, and considerable mic skills, and you have a wrestler who epitomizes the total package. These factors make her a formidable opponent for Asuka, whose title reign has been disappointing due to the WWE's lack of effort in booking quality opponents for her. While it remains to be seen whether the WWE is keeping the belt warm until Becky Lynch's return, they could get a program with Asuka versus Alexa, adding in a subplot of whether Asuka will turn to the dark side, her Kana persona, in order to defeat her chilling challenger. Kudos for also WWE for bringing in Alexa Bliss's new gimmick, a seamless transition into the match. Number 4, Mustafa Ali's promo. Mustafa Ali has been cutting some fantastic promos of late. However, most of them have been via social media or on Raw Talk, which begs the question why he isn't getting the stick every week and cutting some killer promos on the Red brand. Just totally wasted. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, Gillberg, a parody that's become reality? While it's good to see Dwayne Gill on WWE television playing his beloved character Gillberg, the reality is that the Gillberg parody isn't that far off from the wrestler being parodied, Bill Goldberg. Goldberg may look good physically, but fans know the man can no longer wrestle, and while he's not a broken down old man, he looks like it when he has to do anything in the ring besides spearing an opponent. The idea of bringing in Goldberg to wrestle Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble shows how desperate the WWE is to build new stars despite having a plethora of talent. Add in the possibility of Goldberg defeating McIntyre for the WWE Championship and going to Wrestlemania to battle Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and you have a wrestling nightmare not seen since Vince Russo won the WCW Championship. On a side note, it was nice to see the WWE bring in Gillberg after he just suffered a major heart attack, and he looks like he's recovered well. Number 2, Dirty Old Flair. The Lacey Evans-Ric Flair storyline has already run out of steam, so in typical WWE fashion, fans should expect to see it play out for the next several weeks at least. While they know fans enjoy romance angles like that of Otis and Mandy Rose or Aaliyah Mysterio and Murphy, the idea of a septuagenarian super stud seems more like Vince McMahon writing a storyline to live out his personal fantasies than anything designed to engross fans. More like gross out. Granted, Nature Boy Ric Flair is an entertaining character whose antics in wrestling and real life always draw attention, but not here. While we discussed how the storyline might work if it's revealed Papa Flair was in cahoots with daughter Charlotte to work Lacey Evans, the fans know the WWE can't write anything that's sophisticated. Instead, we'll see more vignettes of Slick Rick drooling over Lacey until Evans uses him up and throws him out. Number 3. Causeless champions. Why are Charlotte, Flair and Asuka the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions again? Every week it seems as if we're criticizing the WWE's booking of its tag team title and or the division itself, but we wouldn't do so if the WWE didn't find a new way to make it meaningless. Charlotte Flair is involved in a singles feud with Lacey Evans, and now Raw Women's Champion Asuka appears to be set to work a series with Alexa Bliss. In the meantime, the women's tag team titles are an afterthought despite the WWE finally building up a number of potential contenders such as the Riot Squad, Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce, former champions Jax and Baszler, and the team of Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. The WWE needs to implement a rule that wrestlers can only hold one title at a time, but fans know this won't happen because it would require the WWE to put some actual thought into its booking. Number 4. Elias Hardy feud. Why is this continuing? The Elias vs Jeff Hardy feud has some legs when it first started, with the two appearing to end their feud with the Symphony of Destruction match where Elias was electrocuted and had a spiritual awakening. But for some reason, however, the WWE has decided the fans just can't get enough of Hardy and Elias trading blows, despite no one seeming to care about it now. If anything, the WWE running this feud into the ground exemplifies how the creative team is trying anything to see what works. Here's some helpful advice. This feud isn't helping out anyone. And number 5. Rumble? What Rumble? The Royal Rumble is less than 2 weeks away, and yet the WWE barely mentioned it last night. Does the WWE think the allure of the men and women's Rumble matches are enough to sell the show? Well, they may be right, but again, the lack of effort in hyping the show coupled with a surprisingly average Raw suggests the WWE is still stuck in a creative rut. Now, there was nothing downright ugly, but a run-of-the-mill Raw isn't going to keep fans invested. The WWE doesn't have to contend with the stiff competition from Monday Night Football now that the NFL's regular season is over, so why not invest the time and creative effort to make Raw must-watch TV from start to finish? Now, whilst we're not labeling SmackDown as must-see television, it's shown remarkable improvement with entertaining segments from start to finish. If Raw's writers can come up with any ways to improve the show, take the easy way out and just rip off some of the Blue Brand's ideas. What do you guys think of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Now, our first story looks at who was Drew McInfart. Fans will likely recall the time Adam Pearce accidentally referred to Drew McIntyre as Drew McInfart, so it was only inevitable that the WWE introduce a character based on Pearce's slip of the lip. Last night's edition of The Miz TV not only saw an appearance by Gillberg, but by Drew McInfart. However, who played Drew? Well, according to Ringside News, actor David Krumholtz played Drew during the parody segment that led to a video appearance from the real Drew. Krumholtz is known for roles in a variety of films such as Superbad, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, This Is the End, and many others. Next up, 4 decades of Gillberg. It's hard to believe, but Dwayne Gill's appearance on Raw marked the former WWF Light Heavyweight Champion's 4th decade in the business, with a career dating back to his time on the indie circuit, leading up to his most famous role, that of Goldberg parody Gillberg. The 61-year-old superstar suffered a heart attack last November. It was good to see him back on television, and now he's made this massive milestone. Next up, does the WWE have any plans for WrestleMania 37? Now, we're just 2 months away from WrestleMania, so what does the WWE have planned for the showcase of the Immortals? Does it have any big title defenses planned, any celebrity appearances, or a legend stepping back into the ring? Well, these are some of the things fans usually get, and with the WWE hopefully running the show in front of live fans, there should be some big things ahead, right? Well, not quite, as according to Dave Meltzer, there are no plans. They don't even have WrestleMania booked, other than the fact that they're doing 2 nights. They got that figured out at least. Next up, Ken Shamrock heading to AEW. Fans and wrestling pundits are buzzing after a tweet by former Intercontinental Champion and UFC Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock. At Tony Khan, meeting you again, hopefully our paths can cross again. With Impact wrestlers appearing in AEW and vice versa, an appearance by the world's most dangerous man shouldn't be ruled out and could make for some fantastic matchups. Would you guys like to see Shamrock wrestle in AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Roman Reigns reacts to Randy Orton's mask. Now, the WWE Universe got many jokes in thanks to Randy Orton's new mask that he wore to cover up his burns. One Twitter user even marked this as the return of the Masked Man in the SmackDown vs. Raw series. While Well, it wasn't just the WWE Universe who got their jokes in, so did Roman Reigns, who reacted to WWE's post by simply posting a laughter emoji. You can tell he's not taking this one too seriously. And finally, Batista still looks jacked. Last but not least, belated happy birthday to actor and retired wrestler Dave Batista, who recently turned 52. The animal recently posted a selfie showing he still looks fantastic and commented, "I'm 52 today, so I figured I'd post some gratuitous shirtless shots for posterity. I'm expecting everything on my body to start sagging any moment now. It's a constant struggle. I've given up on above the neck, but thankfully everything below the waist is still holding strong and functioning properly. For now." According to Wrestling News' Andrew Ravens, Batista is currently filming for a role in the upcoming Marvel movie Thor: Love and Thunder. But there you have it, folks, the good, the bad and the downright ugly from this week's Raw, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.